Well, the time has come. Today is my final Obby Creator building video. The idea for this floor comes from these two comments, which were both from the same person in response to the pinned comment I made on the floors 4 and 5 video of Tower of the Grand Finale. You slowly realize that you're not controlling the time machine and the last floor is a boss fight. Well, we'll just be doing the boss fight idea really, and also I thought a boss fight would be a great idea for this final building video, and here's why. My first ever Obby Creator video was how to make a boss battle in Obby Creator, posted on December 9th, 2020. It's been over 3 years since then, and so since this is my final building video, I figured it makes sense to come full circle by building a boss battle. Welcome to Floor 9. The video in which I built this floor was my final Obby Creator building video, so this is a boss fight against me. How to make a boss battle in Obby Creator was my first ever Obby Creator video, so I thought it would be a perfect end to come full circle. You must destroy all the spinning circles to win. Note that this boss fight is non-canon to the SMTOH storyline. It's not related to it. And falling will teleport you back to the start of the floor without resetting buttons. Well, before we begin building this, how about we go play that first one I built? It was in Citadel of Eternal Corruption, which has this ID here. The Citadel actually has 3 boss fights. There's one in these 2 floors, one there, that's the one I built in that first Obby Creator video, and one there. And since building the final one on this last floor here, I actually have not built any boss fights since then, not in Citadel of Abstraction or Citadel of the Infinite Abyss. And I don't really plan to either in Citadel of Leon Laboratories either. But let's go play this floor. It hashtags all of these because it doesn't like numbers, but it's supposed to say floor 8/boss 2. So it begins like that because you like drop down here from the floor above because it's like a mixed progression citadel. So it's like some ascending, some descending. Maybe revealing myself will stop you. Well, fine, you win. I am Lord Shark, and you player shall prepare to die. So the Citadel is insane difficulty. I know in JTOH, Citadels aren't supposed to be soul-crushing difficulty, but this isn't JTOH. I can do what I want. And because it's insane difficulty, here the floor insta-kills, as you just saw there. And you just saw again. Yeah, I kind of sort of tend to make the towers I build be like way too punishing. Your precious floor 3 can't save you anymore. Enjoy falling to your death. Basically on this floor, like doing this outside section here, if you fell you'd land down there. You'd have to do the boss fight again. I think it resets buttons, I don't feel like checking though. Then you'd have to do this again, and then all this, and then you do this outside section to here, and then back to this floor. But now if you fall, you can't save yourself there, because it will just insta-kill you. But I mean, I've made sure not to do that on Tower of the Grand Finale. Since that tower is only difficult, every floor has a safety net. So like once you complete each floor, there's no way you go back to the previous one. Do you really want to press this button? Who knows what it could do? Well, what it does is it destroys one of these trusses here. So when you destroy all 3 of them, then you win the boss fight. And basically you kind of just repeat that. It's like you do a section to reach a button. The rest of them, I guess, are shorter than the one to the red button. How did I miss that? And then you do that, and then it'll teleport you to the next floor. I think the textures got messed up a little bit. I guess I'll fix those. These are supposed to be 20, not 10. There we go. That looks more correct. So yeah, that was the floor 8 boss fight. I think that's what it said there. And that was against Shark, as is this one at the last floor of the Citadel. Now, since this is part of the SMTOH storyline, it's canon to it. So while the boss fights in Citadel of Eternal Corruption are part of the SMTOH storyline, this one is not. So yeah, I guess let's get started building this one. I did actually go back and watch how to make a boss battle in Obby Creator. That video was very cringe. I mean, it's not that bad, but it kind of is. Keep in mind that I made that video over 3 years ago, so of course there's a lot more I can do now with the updates that have come to this game since then. But I'm still going to use the basic idea of like you're destroying things, so you're destroying these 5 spinny circles. Oh, and there actually isn't a safety net here yet. I didn't put the teleporter in, so if you fall, you're dead. Oh, actually you might hit that teleporter too and get sent back to the start of floor 1. Or you could, like, do this, in which case you hit the floor 2 teleporter. I guess we'll destroy them, like, from left to right, or maybe do this one, then this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. I'll do option B. I like that better. And the coloration of the platforms here is just going to be randomly from these 5 different colors. Like, you'll notice I made this one red and this one green. Let's go with yellow on this one. And we can add a wraparound too. So I'm looking at some of the things that are in the game now compared to what was in the game 3 years ago. And so I took a look at the gear part and some of the things here. Things that you would think would be useful in a boss fight, like a rocket launcher, kind of aren't because they only damage other players and they don't even move like push boxes and stuff. I mean, I tested that in this video and you couldn't. Maybe that was updated though. I doubt it, but I guess we can try. Nope. What about this? Since you can launch your character using this, which is something I could use, but I don't really want to. Okay, it doesn't move that either. Just because it's like really annoying to control. And it could launch you like pretty much anywhere around here if you figure out how to. And you could use that to like cheese a bunch of stuff. But a sword has another use besides being a sword. It also makes you jump higher. So I think I'll use that. I think that'll be kind of cool. If you just time it right, you can use it to... Yeah, you can get up there. Cool. But other than that, I think mainly I'm just going to use like some of the new things that have been added since then, you know, like seats. Maybe I'll use a global properties part to make like a high jump section or a no jump section. And also I think just make this boss fight a lot better than the other one, just because my building skills are so much better compared to back then. Okay, so I added this here. It says use this sword to jump higher, click/tap at the right time while jumping. Well, I'll leave the wraparound here. The next thing though will be you have to use the jump higher thing. The highest height you can easily jump is 10 studs. I know that says 11, but there's one here, so it's 10 studs. It's possible to jump higher by like lag high jumping, but let's go with 14, which means 13 studs tall here. And so you won't be able to jump that normally. But with the sword, you can. And I would also like all the platforms around here to be like scattered kind of randomly. So, just, yeah, do that. Oh, and also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I did increase my part limit to 4,400. Because it's like, I don't feel like trying to find 300 more parts to try and build floor 9 and 10 in the lobby and win room. Now, hold on. You also sort of sometimes go to the side, kind of. It would be annoying to fall like that, even though it would just send you back here once I build the teleporter. And putting these things on the side here, that also gives me an idea to put like a button here. What if I do something like this, and then there's like a button right here? And then it would like activate something. There is no like overall time limit for this boss fight. I might consider doing something like that if this were a more difficult tower, but it's not. But it's still going to be kind of like fast paced. Not overall, but in like individual sections. So there's going to be like, you know, speed sections and timed buttons. I guess button activated platforms can be like the one exception to how I want the colors of all these to be these 5 colors. So you'd press this and this would activate. I think I'll do that just so you don't walk off. So you'll have some amount of time that will be determined after I build the section I'm about to build. And I'll include some of these sword jumps as well. And maybe even some 1 studs. Although actually this sword could help you on like any jump really, I guess, because you could use it to like jump a further distance. However, I feel like that would only like majorly affect like long jumps, so I guess I just won't include any of those. Or if I do, it'll be like you're supposed to use this. Okay, so that concludes the first like thing you get to the first button. So now I just need to, it's a make objects invisible button, so it's gonna make all these disappear, so I just gotta select them all. This should be for infinite time. Now I do also need it to activate platforms, so I'll give it the default visual properties of a button and make it invisible. And I also want these can collide false too. This should be make objects visible. I just need to connect it, which I'll do later. And then I want to put the teleporter kind of like inside these buttons. That way it's impossible to hit it without also hitting the buttons. I'm pretty sure back when I built the original boss fight, you couldn't really use 2 buttons at the same time like this because it like wouldn't work. It would only activate 1. I know that was a thing at one point. I'm just not sure if it was the case when I built that, but I'm pretty sure it was because I think I remember that being a thing when I was building Tower of Superception, which was after Citadel of Eternal Corruption. But point is, that's a thing I can do now, so that's a thing I couldn't do before. Yay. And now before I build the next section, let me just select this button and then connect it to all these parts and give it a time limit. Okay, so now it's time to build this next section here, and so all of this is going to have to be activated by this. Maybe. Actually, I don't think so. If I just make it so that it activates something that allows you to get to the parkour that's already over here, then I wouldn't need things to be activated other than those few platforms that are now activated that lead you to the parkour over here. Now, there will be some, like, underneath here. Those will have to be button activated because if they weren't, you could just jump down to them. Okay, here's something interesting I can do using pressure plates, which are newly added relative to when they weren't. There's a new way of saying that. Okay, well, basically, you can do that. Well, I guess that kind of works, but I was thinking you'd have to do something like what I was trying to do there, but that didn't work. We would have to, like, stand on this pressure plate and then have these activate. Then you'd have the push ball go right there. That way it wouldn't just, like, roll off. Well, when this is in place, this truss will be activated, which will allow you to continue. Here's where I'll put, like, a long jump that you need to use the sword in order to make the jump. So, since this is difficult, it's probably going to be something that would be possible otherwise. I'll see if 12.5 works. That's like at least like intense or remorseless, this length of jump. Probably remorseless, yeah. But with this, it's like way easier and definitely fits the difficulty well. Although if you want to, you can do that if you want. Oh, these kind of need to be spaced, like, lined up like that for this to work, I guess. But so that makes a little bit more sense, I'll put a 0.6 transparency thing here. Okay, I also added a sign that tells you that you need to do that. There. Okay. Seats are also a thing added after. I ran out of ways to say it. How about I just say they're new things, but when I say new things, it's relative to December 9th, 2020. That's just implied for the rest of the video. Another one of the new things is seats. So a seat will put you in the center of it, so I can use that so that you get through this wall here. But I don't want you to be able to wall hop. While that would be difficulter than the jump in the first place, I'll still make this bottom part can't collide falls so you can't wall hop. But basically, the middle of this seat is on the other side of the wall, but I'm going to put another one here where that is not the case. So if you jump to this, you can't get through, but this one, you can. Although you can use this to get back. Actually, you'd be able to wrap around anyway, so I guess I won't really incorporate that into the gameplay. Spin conveyors are also new. I'll put some of those, well, one right here. Maybe some more later. I'll make it a 6x6 because I want these to be even numbers so that it doesn't like cut off the arrow because that just looks a little weird. And I also made it go pretty slow because I don't want the jump to be above difficult. So each of these is a separate teleporter. So even though I had this one teleport you to the same location, I sort of intended that to be the case on all of them. That will not be the case for this one. Take a look at this comment that was suggested on this community post where I was asking you for Citadel of Leon Laboratories floor ideas. And I think this comment was meant for Tower of the Planets. It says, how about an outside that's on the ring of one of the planets and it's spinning around so you gotta dodge the walls and then get off at intervals to complete mini challenges, each with a button needed for progression. Oh yeah, only like 1/5 of the ring is collide because a lot of it is just dust. I suppose I could also use this idea on Tower of the Planets. I've planned out most of that tower already, but what I have written for Saturn, it says, as you enter the floor from the outside section, you go onto Saturn's rings, which will be spinning parts. That's all I have written, and I suppose I can do something similar to what I'm about to do here, where it's going to be like, well, you'll see. Okay, so this one is actually going to go around, like, outside all these spinning parts. So I'd like to find wherever, like, the center point is. So I found, like, the highest point that these spinning parts go to. It's right here. Yeah. And they're 10 studs wide, so I have this set to 10 studs. Now I just gotta find out where that lines up, like, exactly. I think that's lined up. If not, it's close enough. Then I want to go over here and make this be lined up correctly there, which it is. I think I need to make this be 100 studs. Nope. A lot more than that. However many for it to line up here like it did at the top of here, which it seems to be that, 170. Now, I can just scale this in all the way till it's like 10 by 10, and then I'm just going to leave that there just in case I end up like deleting something and need to go back to that because it would be really annoying to get that positioned right there again. Okay, so spin distance, what's the highest it'll let me set it? Well, 100 is the highest, and it appears that's within the obby slot borders also, and that's not far enough. Okay, we'll move it up a little bit then. I think that should work a little bit better. Maybe even more. I am kind of limited by space up here now, but I don't think that'll be too bad. Then I want to scale this on the right axis so that it like does that. Let's set it to like 50. Then I basically just want to duplicate this. Actually, I'm going to make these be blue, and the reason for that is because that's the spinny thing here that's going to get destroyed, and I think it should also destroy these because these are also here. Because it's like, this looks like the sort of thing you would destroy in a boss fight, so you may as well destroy both of them at the same time. So I'll make that the same color. Still studs though, not neon. Okay, so you can use that to sort of get onto here, and I'm not going to do the buttons that were suggested in the comment, but I will do just like things you have to avoid. Okay, I do kind of want you to like go the same direction as the spinning, and that's what I had in mind when setting the move time, but I think I need to make it even slower because like this is way too fast still. Okay, so yeah, this should work. If I just sort of, I do want these to be kill bricks. I think that would be good. And they'll be sort of randomly placed. I do want them to be like, this is parallel to the floor and to these things, though. I guess they don't have to be one stud off. They can be lined up like that. And I do want them to, while being the granite texture, still just be randomized to the colors of these things. Let's see, if you fell here, you'd get teleported back to here, and then the teleporter to there. How about I make the Make Objects Visible button here also activate like a teleporter here, which will take you to here, so you don't have to do all this again just to get back to this teleporter. Then when you complete this section up here, the Make Objects Invisible button, in addition to deactivating these and whatever else, it'll deactivate the teleporter again, the one that was right there. So with that in mind, there's basically no punishment if you fall here, but I did just notice something interesting. So like if you're, it sort of depends on where on the platform you are, as far as like how much space you get in here. Like if you're sort of in the center, you don't really have any to like go to the sides. You should get to the ends of it like this. And then that one is kind of similar, I guess. I could also have moving lava parts like this, and some spinning ones as well. Okay, so all these are built now. Now, obviously, I don't want you to be able to just hold space and go back this way. I'm going to place a part here, and that's going to be what prevents you from doing that, and how this section will end. Looking at this, there's only one blue kill brick. I don't really want to make this blue, because then it looks exactly the same as that. I'll make this first one blue. How about that? I'll make this one red, which is what that was before I changed it. Okay, so here, yeah, if you just walk onto it, you don't even have to jump. If you just don't do anything, what happens? It still works. Okay, nice. And this one will destroy the blue thingies. So I'm going to make these be that color. And I'll connect the buttons later. But like I said, the Make Objects Invisible button is also going to deactivate a temporary teleporter that'll be here, which will take you to here. And this will still teleport you back to here, like this one did. And let's see, I need to build 2 more sections. So I think it makes perfect sense to build one here and one here. Not necessarily in that order, but let's go with that order anyway, because why not? Also, I can delete this now. I don't need that anymore. So that would take you back here, and it's the Make Objects Visible button is going to activate the entirety of the platforms that will be part of this next one. Something else I should keep in mind, though, is that you can still use this to jump down here. Like, even though you have to complete this first, you can still just do that again and skip what's down here, unless I just make it also activate a thing blocking you from going this way. So that'll be the solution. That was easy, especially when I'm not even going to do that right now. So this one's going to be a speed section. I'm going to move this over a little bit more. So you won't be able to jump to here. There'll be like a thing blocking you. So yeah, that should mean you can like only get to this platform. Unless I put the next one like too close by, which I won't. I'll make sure you need the increased walk speed in order to make the jump. That way you'll get this and not just like jump over it or anything weird. And actually, this is going to be no ordinary speed section. This is going to be an ice speed section. I know I included ice at some point in Tower of Superception, and I think it was like new-ish at the time I did that, and I don't recall using it at all in Citadel of Eternal Corruption. So I think this is a new feature, at least as much as I'm defining new at the moment. I think in the speed section for these ice platforms I'll include a mixture of like glacier ones like that and ice ones like that. I don't want them to be exactly the same color though. Let's see, I can like turn down the saturation a little bit. Let's go to like 180. Good enough. It looks like exactly the same, but it's fine. Now let's think about the teleporter here for a second. If you were to miss a jump, it'll teleport you back there. This teleporter will be gone, but you'll still have pressed these buttons here. So the thing blocking you from going this way will still be there. And these should still be activated. So yeah, you can just like go back down here and try again. You will still have increased walk speed at that point though, which will be fine. I'll just put a thing that sets your walk speed back to 16 right there. Okay, well here's what I have so far. Hold on, let me make it not exactly the same. There. Beautiful. Variation. I mean, I could put an ice truss here. Whoa. It's like a truss, but it's made of ice. It's pretty much just gonna be this for the whole section. I'll probably make it like spiral a little bit. It'll maybe go like around here, and maybe the button will be like, well, it's got to be for the green one. So how about it goes like kind of this way, and then the button's like there. Okay, this button will teleport you back to there once again, and I jumped higher there because it already had the increased jump power. You get increased jump power when you press that button. So basically, you're then gonna like sort of go this way across these first couple platforms here of this first one, and probably like down here maybe for the last section. This wraparound here, I increased the height of, so like you can jump to it from here, or if you want to jump from here and use the sword, you can do that too. This button is also gonna activate a part here, so this won't be here like the first time you do this, so you can like jump on top of there. I could make that a sword jump, but I don't really want to. Okay, so I kind of just need to find out how high you jump, which is about this high, and then just make this platform a little bit taller. Yeah, there, that works. So these two things are going to get activated by the Make Objects Visible button down here. With these button activated platforms that are here that this button is connected to from before, you'd be able to jump to any platforms down here. So the platforms I'm about to place will be activated by the button over here. So I just like did the jump and then pressed no clip. So about right here is where I'm going to put this. I'll make it a pretty large platform. In fact, I'll make it a cube, because cube. Oh wait, hold on. You'll be able to press this button and then do that. Okay, I want you to like not be able to. No problem. I'll add a part like this. Okay, now hold on. I also need to make sure you can't do that. It didn't even jump correctly, and I still made it. That definitely means I need to move this further away. From here, if you like wrap around, it might still be possible, but not possible enough for it to really be a concern to me. It would be more difficult than doing the intended route. Yeah, because as it turns out, like jumping from a higher point actually affects the distance you're able to jump less than you would likely think. I'll also put a kill brick on this cube. It's not really gonna affect anything, but I'm going to. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna make all of these platforms for the rest of here be like this. If you're wondering why I just changed skyboxes, I hit the teleporter here and got teleported back to the floor 1 thing. Actually, I think for this final stretch of this floor, I think I'll put like 3 of these of different colors. We're trying to get to this blue spinner. That should be good. We'll put the button like right there with some stuff in between. This is probably something I should have thought of before building the last 2 platforms of the floor, but I think wedges would look nice with the way I'm going to detail this floor, which I haven't talked about yet, but I will now. It's basically going to be detailed kind of like the final stretch of Citadel of Eternal Corruption, where it's like the platforms are all falling apart. In that Citadel, it looks like that because it's like the Citadel is about to explode and so everything's falling apart. Here, I don't know, kind of referencing that, even though this is supposed to be more of a reference to the second boss fight of that Citadel, but it's fine, close enough. And just because it looks cool. But wedges sort of kinda already look like that, so I definitely should have used those more. But I guess I can just go back and change that in a few places when I add some detail to that. Place some things like in between here. That'll be good. I've placed the button now, although I'll move it up a little bit more so that you use the increased jump power, but that's too high. So you would jump to that, assuming you actually make the jump. It would destroy the last one of these, and I guess it'll also activate, like, the escape route. So it'll just, like, activate some platforms. I guess going this way, since there aren't really any at the moment. And then I can put the spaceship, like, here, with the teleporter to floor 10. Okay, so now let's talk about design again for a minute. I mean, I already told you what I'm going to do for design, but I guess I'll just do that a little bit here. So it was actually my sister who built that on Citadel of Eternal Corruption. Here it's just me though, so I guess I'll have to figure it out. I have kind of built this a few times before. Can't really think of any specific examples, but I guess it doesn't take that many parts for it to look good. Like, so I don't have to spend forever on every one of these. Like, see, even with just 2, that looks pretty good, but I'll put like 1 more of these smaller ones. And these are also can collide false so that they don't interfere with the gameplay at all. I'm also going to add like a boss health bar though. That's going to be the last thing I build on camera. So let's see, it would start with full health, so this like whole thing would be green. Each of the 5 buttons, it will like turn a 5th of it red, I guess, right? This would turn red, this would turn red, this would turn red, this one. Then the whole thing would be red. And at that point, the escape route would be available. So yeah, I think that'll work. I want to make sort of the back of this be like black. It'll have like that outline. It'll look nice. Okay, now hold on. I also want this to be 25 studs long because that's easily divisible by 5. I'm gonna make this like smaller one be red and then actually make it just a little bit smaller and like we'll go 0.25 studs. Then just duplicate the red part and then just like rescale it a little bit larger like that. Make this green, then make this be 5 studs. Then I can actually set my move grid to 5 to make this go a little bit faster, assuming I actually duplicate it. Basically, each button you press, it's going to do that, and so this is going to turn red slightly, and so it's like the boss is losing a little bit of health. Okay, well I was going to add a thing on top that said boss health. How about I add it here instead? I put it on this green part. Even when it gets deactivated, you'll still see it, as long as the button that's connected to it has modify effects off. Anyway, now it's time for some off-camera building, mostly adding detail, but also connecting buttons. Floor 9 is now finished, and it's time to show you the whole thing. So here's the obby if you want to come play this or any of the other floors. So floor 8 ends with this being open, and you can use the teleporter here, but I don't feel like pressing all the buttons, so. Welcome to floor 9. The video in which I built this floor was my final Obby Creator building video, so this is a boss fight against me. How to make a boss battle in Obby Creator was my first ever Obby Creator video, so I thought it would be a perfect end to come full circle. You must destroy all the spinning circles to win. Note that this boss fight is non-canon to the SMTOH storyline. It's not related to it. And falling will teleport you back to the start of the floor without resetting buttons. Actually, that not resetting buttons part is kind of not true. There is a button deactivator here that'll deactivate buttons because it's like the buttons make a section later on work a certain way, so it's like they just need to reset, but it doesn't reset any of like these buttons you need to press to destroy the spinning circles. This sign says use this sword to jump higher. Click / tap at the right time while jumping. So you're gonna need that here. So if you just like do that at the right time, and then you can press this button here, it'll activate this platform beneath you, and then you can do this by doing that, or I found it a little more consistent to do that and sort of jump to that other platform first. You got a few more jumps you need to do, and this one you have to use the sword for, and then you can jump to that. What that's going to do is it's going to lower the boss health a little bit. It's going to destroy the yellow spinning circle. It will activate this, and it will activate this. This arrow just tells you need to go this way, and this part is here because you need it to make this jump. Let me just make sure you can't use the sword to do that. You can. Well, to fix that, I'll just move all this over and rotate this a little bit so that you can still make the jump off of here, which you could using the sword probably, but I'll just do that. That should work. So using the sword, that should be impossible. I didn't tap it at the right time. Yeah, no. And without using the sword, this should be possible. You can still use the sword if you want, though. Here you need to use this push ball and do that. That way it like will stay on the pressure plate, so it'll stay activated and you can do this. Hold on, you could probably do that. Well, I think the fix to this is just going to be once again moving some stuff around. That should work, I think, but this still works as intended. Here you gotta jump to the right seat. Since it puts you in like the center of it, you gotta jump to the one on the right. Then you can go on the spin conveyor, and there's a couple more jumps. Then you need to push this cylinder so that you can jump to this button. That one will teleport you to here, but if you were to fall during this section, you'll get sent back to here. But this teleporter is here, which you can use to get back to here. So then you gotta go across these spinning parts while avoiding the kill bricks. I mean, they only deal 5 damage, but they can push you off the spinning parts. Some of the kill bricks themselves are also spinning parts and moving parts. This one you gotta jump over. Maybe don't stand towards the back of the part though, because then you could fall off like I almost did. Then here, you want to jump to that button. It'll deactivate this teleporter here, and you'll be able to see this arrow again, which now instead of indicating you go this way, tells you you go this way. And then you have this speed section, and if you were to fall, you'll get teleported back to here again. However, your walk speed will be reset. And I just realized a shortcut. This was here. You can use the sword to do that or not. It's possible without it. And that was okay until I realized you could do that using the sword. What if I just move these further away? Because I have increased walk speed here, so I think you should still be able to make that. But without the sword, it doesn't look like it. But using the increased walk speed, you just need to do these ice jumps. I had to make the ones with the ice texture be not semi-transparent since they're button activated, so they're just transparency 0. And hopefully this is still possible. It's not, of course. Well, nothing that some rearrangement of platforms can't fix. Now, if while doing that last jump onto here, you may hit this invisible wall, the reason that's there is because that will prevent you from hitting this teleporter, which is another teleporter back to here. It does the same as if you were to fall. The reason this teleporter is here is so that you can't jump to this button from above, because this button itself is not activated by the button up there. Once you reach here, just jump to that button. Your walk speed will be reset, but your jump power will be increased. You then need to go this way again, and you can use the sword on these jumps. The only one you need to is that one. The rest of them, it'll help though. And yeah, these jumps are pretty easy from here to the next button, which is right here. So this escape route is now activated, which you can use to get over there. And this is what that button deactivator down here is for. So first, let me just show you what this does. So when you jump to each one, this one will move, like it'll move the next one. And then you would do that to finish the floor. Now the button deactivator is supposed to just deactivate all the buttons that are here that I used to make that work, but it only deactivates the make objects visible button. So when you do that, it just does that. You can still complete the section though, because like it'll just make the next one activate, which is kind of cool. I may use that in some future towers, but I don't know why it's not deactivating these ones. I tried making them be 0.99 transparency, and this is also well, it's supposed to be. I'm pretty sure it doesn't fix it though. Yeah, see, it just doesn't. So if anyone knows how to fix that, please tell me. Anyway, you'd then go into the spaceship, and this is already fully powered, so you'd take the teleporter here to temporary floor 10. Floor 10 will be built later. Well, actually, it'll be partially or completely, I'm not really sure yet, built in the stream that will immediately follow the premiere of this video. So yeah, that concludes this video. So thanks so much for watching it. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please remember to leave a like and consider subscribing. While this is my final Obby Creator building video, it's not my final Obby Creator video, because after this, there's going to be the full playthrough of this tower. Also, you can see that push ball falling from up there. And even that won't be my final Obby Creator video, because I'll still be doing like requested obbies and stuff. But of course, after this tower, I'm going to be continuing SMTOH in Roblox Studio. So I'll save my heartfelt speech on how fun this journey has been in Obby Creator and thanking everyone for everything next video. In the meantime, bye!